Imagine asking for a refund.
I think definitely Nani bye bye our pastor. But I think
Bye.
yeah, like it's no, but like a vibe. It's not TV.
It's D-KOENA. Hi and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And today we are discussing premarital counseling.
Yep, we are talking all things premarital counseling, and we've got some questions here that we're going to answer, and also speak a little bit on our experience on premarital counseling. So yeah, let's go.
Without any further ado, let's go.
I wish we had more sessions with our counselor. I don't know. I think we had quite enough sessions with our counselor. I think we covered everything that we needed to cover. I think we had almost 3 months of counseling. So
yeah, I think also on my side, I'd say that we had our premarital counseling was actually 2 to almost 3 months. However, most of it was like mostly work which we needed to do by ourselves. Our pastor gave us workbooks where we needed to like read, discuss and answer and whatsoever, and do a couple of activities together and individually. But we really didn't have much sessions with him, like where we were talking. And I feel as though maybe I would have appreciated if like we had more sessions with him and maybe drilled down on subject or all the topics which we're covering like in depth, you know.
Yeah, actually, because I'm actually thinking now, like we had when we went back there, it wasn't necessarily like, because we'd sent him the activities prior so that we could have the discussions when we get there. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I wish we did also have maybe a little bit more sessions. But I think in terms of like
what needed to be achieved, it was achieved. So definitely.
I think it was just for more of our comfort.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. And highlight of your marriage counseling. I think the highlight was the fact that we actually had some bit of experiences, or we had an encounter with the pastor before. We're at a camp, and camps, there's rules and whatsoever. We'll get into like in depth of the story some other time, but just the highlight of it. So there was the rules to say that boys can go to girls' dorm and girls vice versa. And it happened that I was feeling very sick on that day, and we were dating at that time actually. And she came to bring me some medication, and I took the medication. As I was walking her out, the pastor sees us and is like, "Hey, come here." And it was just a big drama. He was calling our parents, and we tried explaining, but anyway. So the highlight was actually when we got to him and we reminded him of that experience, and it just made the mood light.
A lot easier and comfortable.
And we had a point of reference to say, you are those guys.
Also, I just feel like because he kind of knew or knows, he knows our families, and I think it was nice to have someone that you know but also nice that it didn't feel like you were speaking to your father. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't very like, so
we're able to express ourselves.
that we couldn't really express, but we were able to express ourselves. I think, that was definitely the highlight. Also, like, our pastor was super funny. So, like, it was just fun, man.
Yeah, let's go for the next one.
Let's see. Having a checklist is important when choosing a counselor. I don't know, I'd say, Buti, it is to an extent, right? A checklist would probably be like you don't want him to be too far from where you live, like in terms of travel. Do you want it to be virtual or not? We had the opportunity to go to his place. So we didn't do anything virtual, which I really enjoyed. But I do think that it's important to have a checklist, particularly because you do have like expectations as a person in terms of what you want to see at the end of the premarital counselling. And I think you need someone who could possibly like meet those expectations.
Yeah, like for me, I wouldn't say expectations because you don't quite know what to expect when it comes to premarital counseling, right? You are going in there. Yes, you might have heard here and there, but you don't necessarily know what to expect. I think the best thing to sort of like make some sort of checklist is to actually find people who have been to premarital counseling, to actually give you advice as to what is it that you can expect, you understand, out of the session. But I think from my point of view, if I were to make a checklist before premarital counseling, one would be he needs to be of our faith. It needs to be someone whom we can whom we're comfortable with, because you do not want someone also to and you can't express, because it's premarital counseling. We work with the information that you give the pastor or the counselor. If you do not give information, then they'll advise you or they'll counsel you on what you have given them. You understand? So that would be 2. Number 3, it would also be the fact that I'd at least want someone with experience. Like I would want someone with years of being married, and someone who somewhat I've seen speaking on marriage and on service. Someone whom I have an idea of what their thoughts around marriage are. That would be on my checklist. But outside of that, I think it's a bit tricky.
But also, like, I understand that you might not know exactly what happens in premarital counseling if you haven't gone there, but I just feel, Ubuti, like you need to have some sort of expectations. Like you can't just say, I'm going to one what's gonna happen when I get there. No, like you need to get in there and be like, this is what I would like to see happen at the end of the whole premarital counseling experience. Like I want to have a clear direction as to whether or not I'm going to marry this person, whether or not I'm going to wait, whether or not I don't want to marry this person, and I need someone to help me, guide me to reach that point, of saying this, I'm going to continue with this person.
Okay, and the 4th one, marriage counseling, was it what you expected it to be? I wouldn't say that it was or was not, so basically I had an opportunity where I was asking a couple of people in my circle who are married as to what happens at marriage counseling, and try to get as much information as possible, because I am one person doesn't like going into something that they do not know what's happening, so that you know that are you getting the value of what you're doing here or not, you understand? And I think after the sessions were done, I got what they had said and more, like way more, and I noticed that even if someone is to tell you what happens there, your experience is what counts most. Like you'll have a totally different experience.
Yeah. Continuing with marriage counseling is important. I think it is important because I don't know, like, I don't think you should go to counseling only when there's something wrong that's happening or if you're in a bad space. I think it's always important to go even when you're in a good space, right? Because then you are able to kind of speak about the things that are happening in the time that is a good space that are making you happy, right? Because there's sometimes things that you might do and your partner is not aware that those things make, or there's stuff that your partner might do, right? That they are not aware that those things make you happy, right? And I guess it's just a chance for you to just let them know how much you appreciate certain things. So yeah, definitely.
And also premarital counseling is actually sort of like a strategy to your marriage as to what is it that you want, the end goal of your marriage. Like you come in with different goals, financial goals and whatever goals, and then you need to come in and strategize. That's what premarital counseling is, or how I understood premarital counseling. You come in and strategize, and you say that this is how you're gonna do. Actually, for us, we even did a SWOT analysis where we discussing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and our threats, and objectives. We even have a mission and a vision, serious stuff, right? So it's like a proper plan. Actually, the pastor even said it's like running a business. You understand? You know where you wanna take it. Therefore, it can't be a once-off thing where you just plan and then you leave the plan there. You understand? Hence, I feel as though marital counseling should be a continuous thing.
Definitely.
Where you go in and review how far we are on the plan. Because some of the goals are like periodic goals. After 2 years, a year that you've achieved them, then you need to move on to the next goal. That's where you actually review and say, okay, we can add this as a new goal and whatsoever moving forward. But also, I think the viewers at home can also share their opinions and thoughts on this. To you married guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think once we've done premarital counseling, chayile or what is it? Please tell us your thoughts on the comment sections.
Definitely, yeah.
Go for the next one. Is it me? Okay, let's see. Marriage counseling was worth it. Definitely was worth it. I think you learned so many things about the next person, and you also learn way more things about yourself actually, because the certain questions that the pastor asked, which we even had to go home and think about them. It was so funny. Because they're asking a question about yourself, in relation to the counseling, and you have no answer. So it was definitely worth it because it helped us sort of like paint a picture of what it is that we're going into.
Yeah, I think also like, or you have an idea of what it is that you want, right? Or what your marriage would look like, but I think it just helped us kind of certify that and like solidify it to make sure that this is exactly what we want and that we're both on the same page. And that we're both on the same page. I think also there is quite a lot of things that you think that you have spoken about, have like touched on, and like you've kind of resolved and you know exactly what you're going to do once you get into the marriage. But there is like quite a lot that we realize that actually we didn't even like speak about certain things, right?
Because we didn't know that we had to speak about them.
No, sometimes like you don't even, not necessarily what you don't know, but like because you've never been in that situation,
Therefore, it's not even a thought.
Okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying. But also, I think you are able to kind of realize that you're living in a bubble, right? And there's obviously the two of you creating this bubble, and he kind of popped that for us, and like kind of made us think about things that were worth thinking about for the long run. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, we are almost done. Premarital counseling should be done before lobola negotiation.
Imagine asking for a refund.
I think definitely. We also had ours like prior. Although I feel like we had gone there with a certain dates, like we had gone there with a certain time that we wanted to have it, and our pastor was just like, "You guys are late." Like,
not necessarily. That's not how it panned out.
Well, we had intended on doing it earlier than when we had done when we've done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we intended on doing it like the year before, but unfortunately, because it was like almost festive season, so we had to put it towards the beginning of the year, and we then started beginning of the year. But the lobola negotiations literally were guided by the outcomes of the premarital counseling, because there wouldn't have been premarital counseling if we did not somewhat want to get married. You understand? Therefore, lobola would have been a conversation and other things around how we'd like this to pan out whatsoever. However, before the final decisions were stamped, we had to go through premarital counseling, and I think to what you were saying, it's important to actually go there prior, like as early as possible, right?
Yeah, because then what's the point? Like, what's the point of? Because if like they already do the lobola, you're already married practically. Like you're practically married, right? So like, what's the point then of going to premarital counseling?
Imagine going back to families and say,
yo. So definitely like do it before, because then there's really no point if you do the lobola and then only go for premarital. Like you're already married, my guy.
But also why we say that, it's also important to also mention that if there is someone watching this right now who have already gone for lobola, it's still not too late, because there's certain things which you might still learn, you understand? Because right now someone will say, I'm late, okay, I'm no longer doing it. But then the stuff actually which will be beneficial to you even after you have lobola. However, I feel as though it's advisable to do it prior to the lobola, because it's more beneficial, and
you still have the choice to not. I feel like it just gives you a clearer understanding of who you are and who this person is and what they want. Because I mean, right now we can be sitting and talking about getting married, right? But we might not necessarily be on the same page, but because we're so overwhelmed by the thought of getting married, we miss the fact that we're not on the same page.
But also, guys, do tell us. It's a conversation. Do tell us your thoughts. Anyone who's got a different thought altogether, just throw it there on the comment.
And maybe if you also just went to premarital counseling after lobola, tell us your experience.
Tell us your story. Like, I would like to hear. Sometimes it might have worked out. How did you make it work? Maybe advise someone who's maybe in that space at this moment.
And maybe with that said, it doesn't mean that if you go to premarital counseling, it's going to work, right? It's just, it helps you out, right? But
it's important.
It is important.
It lays a very solid foundation.
Definitely.
And just as we said before, it paints a vivid picture of what you are going into. That's if it's done well.
And honestly, if you do it with all honesty, so you don't go there with like
holding back.
Yeah, like you need to be honest to yourself about what it is that you want and what it is that you envision for this institution that you're about to get into.
Yep. Let's go to the last question. Getting a marriage counselor was easy. Well, yes. I'll leave it at that. Should explain.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess yes, right? Because we had quite a few people around us that were or are married, so it was easy for us to just go and ask for advice or like
recommendations.
Yeah, recommendations as well, right? I think it was easy for us in that sense. Also because I knew what I wanted or who I wanted our pastor to be, and lo and behold. He was our pastor.
Yeah, she was so happy to.
No, I was, because I really wanted someone who's also going to officiate our wedding. I wanted our counselor to officiate our wedding.
Yeah.
So I was very happy about that because Unani bye our pastor. But I
bye.
think yeah, like but like a vibe.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's got a vibe.
Yeah.
So I think it was easy for us in that sense, but I don't know, like you do ask yourself like, where do I start, like what do I need to do? But you just ask around, people will help you, people will give you advice, people will give you recommendations. And I think also it's important for you to even be open to your counselor before you decide to pick them. Have options. Yeah. We did have options. We didn't just have one person. We also had his share recommendation.
Yeah. Of which it didn't pass. But
because you can only have one person.
Yeah. However, guys, I'd like you guys to drop any questions that you might have, because also when we're going into the whole premarital counseling thing, there wasn't much information out there. We had to search, ask people, and it was a bit difficult to get the information. And would like you guys to drop any questions that you might have around the whole process and what the benefits are, whatever the questions that you might have, and we'll see if we can try and get like a counselor to come onto the channel and actually speak on it, and so that at least there's at least one video that's available on that in your space.
Yeah, also I think if you know, like if there are platforms where people can get assistance when you're looking for a counselor, you can just like
drop a link
or whatever.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this episode, and it was fun. We enjoyed shooting it. And look, those were our experiences. We enjoyed talking. We enjoyed sharing our experiences. This channel is all about sharing positivity about marriage.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys hopefully in our next video.
Subscribe,
comment, like, and subscribe.
And also share, guys. Share, guys. There's so many people who are watching this who haven't subscribed, guys. Please subscribe. Please check if you're still subscribed. Maybe you press that button by mistake.
The unsubscribe button.
Yeah.
But until next time,
peace and God bless.